Hey there, Internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another Wrestling Wednesday. Of course, this week is the post-Wrestlemania week for 2018. Wrestlemania weekend. A lot of fun. Some really, really cool highs, some really, really bad lows. So I'm not going to run through kind of everything that went down the last few days, but kind of touch on the real highs and the real lows that I enjoyed and hated. Real highs, pretty much all of NXT was really, really good. NXT TakeOver. It was, I want to say 5 matches on the card, or 4 matches and the unsanctioned Gargano-Ciampa match. The Gargano-Ciampa match is probably one of the best matches I've ever seen, in large part due to all the build-up that had been coming on that one, and even if I hadn't been watching it all the time since the beginning of, like, the DIY, like, I remember the first time I saw the two of them was the match that ended with them breaking up, basically, with Ciampa attacking Gargano afterwards. That was the first time I ever really tuned into an NXT thing, and that was because so many people were like, oh, you really need to watch this DIY Authors of Pain match. I don't remember if anybody else was involved in it. But that long-term storytelling that they did on that was really, really solid. The only potential kind of low point of NXT TakeOver was the Ember Moon Shayna Baszler match, in my opinion. But even that was a great match, just kind of restricted a little bit by Shayna Baszler's abilities, I think. Still told a great story. Ember Moon did a great job. Happy to see her kind of moved up to Raw. I kind of made that call. Did not see her in the Women's Battle Royale at WrestleMania, so I missed my prediction on that. But good to see her called up to the big leagues. And like, even if that match wasn't like as great as the other stuff on the card, it was just because everything else on the NXT TakeOver card was so amazing. The ladder match was great. The triple threat tag match was a lot of fun, and Almas and Aleister Black was also another great one. I was surprised that with that we didn't see Andrea Cien Almas make a debut on Raw or SmackDown this week. Maybe they're waiting for the Superstar Shakeup because of everybody else that we got to see kind of called up. Like, it's weird that No Way Jose got called up to Raw when I feel like I haven't seen him on anything TakeOver since I've been watching. But not Andrade Cien Almas. Anyway, that was NXT TakeOver. A lot of fun. Just some really astounding stuff there. I also ended up seeing kind of in one of my first non-WWE, or like one of my first real non-WWE matches, I did see the Cody Rhodes Kenny Omega match. Got to watch that with my buddy Tyler Treese while I was at PAX. And it was an interesting juxtaposition because I had seen that right after seeing the Gargano-Ciampa match, and so you had these two great face versus heel storytelling dynamics, and it was really interesting to see Raw go the route, or not Raw, WWE go the route of the face winning and getting this like very joyous moment, and then you had Ring of Honor going with the heel winning and being dastardly and continuing that storyline. So I imagine that's all building to a head at their All In, the Young Bucks and Bullet Club's All In event coming up. But yeah, that was great. WrestleMania itself was long, had some really cool stuff. Admittedly, I was very surprised that the Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon match ended up being probably my favorite match of the show. So probably a toss-up between that and Asuka Charlotte. But that was just the Ronda Rousey came in, surpassed, I think, everybody's expectations on kind of what this new, fresh, to wrestling at least, face could bring to the card. But she did great. Kurt did great. The heel tactics of Triple H and Steph McMahon sold everything, and so it made it really fun when they started getting their butts kicked later in the match. And then Charlotte Asuka was great, kind of from start to finish. Lots of really great moves in there. I talked myself out of it in my predictions last week, but I knew Asuka's streak was going to have to end sooner or later, so I'm glad to see Charlotte was the one to do it. I figured it was. I mean, it would have made sense that it was going to be Charlotte, or it would have they would have had to wait for Ronda Rousey to kind of get up to speed and get doing it, and maybe they just didn't know of how long of a realistic build that would take, and if they'd be able to hold Asuka continuing to win. Interesting that they had Carmella cash in the next night and the next Tuesday on Tuesday to take out Charlotte's reign, somewhat undercutting maybe the fact that she defeated the streak a little bit, but it was coupled with the Iconic duo, or the Iconics, I guess maybe they've been rebranded for the main roster. They came out and beat the crap out of Charlotte first to establish themselves as new female heels on the scene. I think making more of an impact than the Riot Squad did, which is going to be, yay, dueling heel factions. Anyway, in terms of lowlights of WrestleMania, I was underwhelmed and disappointed by the Nakamura AJ Styles match. I feel like that had the potential to be so much better and bigger, and it seems like now they're setting that up to be a longer running feud, especially with Nakamura going heel. But like, this match should have still been like a show stealer, and people were like, oh, maybe it was like cut for time, and I'm like, well, if it was cut for time, there were a lot of rest holds and stuff in there that they could have cut then, and kept it fast paced, high flying, like good, solid action. So it was disappointing on that front, and I absolutely hated the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match. The fact that they went hard way and cut Roman Reigns like all the hell. The whole thing just now screams that basically Brock Lesnar was like, fuck this audience, like fuck this whole situation. If I'm going to drop the title, I'll drop the title at this Greatest Royal Rumble thing, where people aren't going to be, dicks and chanting Johnny Wrestling or CM Punk or whatever, anybody else. Because, like, end of the card, nobody wanted to see that match. That match is, the same 4 or 5 moves over and over and over again, as evidenced by the commentary team was keeping track and counting Superman punches and spears and F5s and suplexes. The fact that you go a whole year with Brock Lesnar putting away everybody with one F5, and Roman Reigns survives 5 of them, and then finally it takes him being cut open and being put away with a final 6th F5. Like, that's just bullshit. Like, there's no way to like convincingly make that a good story. Like, okay, so nobody can beat Brock Lesnar, but Bill Goldberg could in 2 fucking minutes or whatever. So fuck all of that booking. That's like, you have incredible booking with Gargano Ciampa, and then the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Vince McMahon shitting the bed as much as he possibly could with Lesnar, Reigns, and that was a very distinct, frustrating end to a long evening of wrestling. Monday, Tuesday, as I kind of already touched on, a lot of interesting call-ups. No Way Jose was one I was not expecting, but Ember Moon's great to see, Authors of Pain is great to see, and the Iconic duo is great to see. Ones I'm still interested to see or looking towards would be Sanity. I feel like they're due for a main event push, and again, it seems like Andrade Cien Almas wouldn't have dropped the belt without moving up to the main roster. But maybe they're going to do like a new push, or another feud against him and Drew McIntyre to kind of wrap up that unfinished business first. Last WrestleMania match I wanted to touch on was the return of Daniel Bryan. Interesting choice to have him taken out of the match for the first, 10 minutes or so, or whatever. But once he came in, everybody got super excited, super into it. Getting to see him getting to see Shane beat up for the first few minutes, or hold his own against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and then Daniel Bryan come in and dominate when he returned was fun, exciting. I'm curious to see where they'll go with the Sami Kevin stuff, how they'll kind of keep them in the running. The match on Monday was a solid one where, we've only got one spot, so, the winner takes it, and then neither of them won. Interesting choice. But yeah, ultimately there was definitely a lot of booking decisions that seemed to be, we've got this greatest Royal Rumble coming up now in Saudi Arabia, and we're going to basically turn that into a mini WrestleMania. So, maybe we won't have the title dropped here. You have Undertaker coming back here, doing a squash match on John Cena, and now he's going to do a casket match, right? Is that, yeah, with Rusev. So, Rusev not winning and stuff sucks, but the fact that the Undertaker is coming out of this whole retirement thing to fight John Cena and now Rusev means that Rusev definitely has some kind of draw power that Mark Calloway is willing to give some time to. So it'll be interesting to see whether they really fully bury Rusev or if Rusev is finally given a chance to get over there against the Undertaker. If Undertaker puts in the work and lets the new guy go over in old school fashion. So those are a lot of my my WrestleMania weekend kind of responses, reactions. All in all, a lot of fun stuff. More highs than lows, I would say, but yeah, I some of those lows, namely Reigns and Lesnar, I really hated, but nothing's gonna surpass Gargano Ciampa. Yeah, like I said, best match I've probably ever seen, because it had such great storytelling kind of building up to it, and then just the match itself was a masterclass in capitalizing on that long-term storytelling and just great in-ring psychology and kind of a great kind of cap to that years-long feud that we've seen. So those are my thoughts on WrestleMania weekend. Let me know what yours are in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.